Hey, what's the matter with you? Matter? With me? But isn't matter a substance that has inertia and occupies physical space? What? Do you Google everything, you imbecile? Now fine-tune that old machinery and put it on the Zeewala update. It's time for the Zeewala update with your host, Zeewala. Yay! All right! Yeah! This is great!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first episode of the Zeewala Update. I'm your host with the most, Big Z, a.k.a. Zeewala. Why do I call myself Zeewala? Well, my first name is Z. My last name has a Walla in it, so I decided to combine it, and here we go, Zeewala. One word, right? Like Prince. Just kidding. Anyway, this podcast is basically just stuff that I want to talk about. There's no specific format. I'm just going to cover a range of various topics. I have some friends that are also will be chiming in. Sometimes it'll be over the phone. Sometimes it'll be in person. And you never know. Never know what's going to happen. But I'm here to have fun. I'm here to speak my mind. And I'm here to just touch based on topics that I find pretty interesting. And that I feel like I want to kind of convey it over to you. So let's get to it. And start off with the first topic that I have for today, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, the Taco Bell Nacho fries. I wanted to talk about this for quite some time. They've been out for about, I say, a couple weeks now, getting some time for it to kind of get around. It's, got some time for it to let it soak in. People got their opinions about it, but I will tell you this. It's about damn time Taco Bell included fries in their menu. I mean, that's like a no-brainer that they should have been doing that a long time ago. I don't know who came up with that particular idea, but I bet you that person got a raise at the end of the day, right? I think it's super important that they do include it. Now, the best thing about it, though, here's the best thing about it, is that they're $1. They're $1, and let me see here. It's about, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, about 15 fries in a box. Comes with this nacho cheese sauce, which you probably get. It's probably the same nacho cheese that it is in the regular small nachos that you get. The chips with the cheese sauce that you dip. But it's an ideal concept. And here's the best bet. It's $1. Okay, it's $1, and we gotta kind of think twice about that, or thank the maker who contribute to this whole dollar thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we gotta thank McDonald's, because at the beginning of the year, McDonald's came out and said, you know what, we're bringing the dollar menu back. Or we're going to revamp on the dollar menu, and we're going to basically bring it back. And so they came out with a $1, $2, $3 kind of type of menu, and other restaurants around kind of was like, okay, I get you, McDonald's, I see you, and I'm going to go ahead and contribute, and we're going to come out with our own $1, $2, $3 menu, or whatever the case is. Carl's Jr. is doing it. Jack in the Box, I saw a couple. Jack in the Box actually had a commercial where they taunted McDonald's, or they were like, Jack came out, and he's like, hey, McDonald's, I see you. And so we're going to do the same thing as well. And we're going to come up with our own dollar menu as well. I think it's fairly important that they do stuff like this, okay? It's number one, it's fast food. It's supposed to be fast, and it's supposed to be cheap. Fast food, I read an article, is basically the best or the most calorie for the buck, right? So you spend $1 and you get the most calorie for it. Obviously, it's catered and designed for people who don't have that much money. It should be $1. I remember when they came out with like the $6 burger at Carl's Jr. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'm paying $6 for this big juicy burger, but if I'm going to be spending $6 anyway on this burger, I might as well spend the extra couple bucks or whatever the case is and get myself a better burger, or a burger that doesn't come from a fast food establishment. You know what I mean? So in that kind of sense, stick to the basics. I'll tell you this. I born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, right? Born in the early 80s, so I'm kind of like a mix. I'm like, I'm a little bit of an 80s kid, a little bit of a 90s kid for sure. But when I was younger, the Whopper was 99 cents. I'm not going to lie. We used to get like 3 or 4 Whoppers, stuff them in our jackets, and go to the movie theater because it was a damn freaking good deal. Think about it. I understand things are getting expensive now, but if you were to make food at a reasonable price, you would sell more because people are suffering now, right? Like they're like, oh my God, things are so expensive. Like that's all you hear people say. Things are so expensive. Things are so expensive. Well, if things are expensive, think about it. Focus on your product. Go back to the old rituals of the McDonald's. If you haven't seen the McDonald's movie Founder, I think that's what it's called, right? Go watch it. It's a really simple concept. They stuck to like 5 or 6 items, kept it reasonably priced at that particular moment in time, and then they sold the hell out of it, and they were making so much money, and they were busy because they were selling consistency, which I think is super important in any business, to have consistency, and then to have a fair price. They didn't change their prices as much. So that makes sense, right? To do it in that type of manner and sell it at that particular price. I would specifically do that. I would focus on having those items at a cheap price, trying to sell more of it, and then having consistency as well. So we got to thank McDonald's for bringing that $1, $2, $3 menu back. And this goes kind of a step further, because if you think about it, or just think about it right now, if you look at how society is set up, just take a look. Like you got that DoorDash, you got things that are delivered. People are getting encouraged to stay in the house and not get out. If you make things reasonable and cheaper, then people are going to want to go out and spend the money out there. That'll boost the economy a little bit more. I heard one of my friends say, hey, if we go out, then it's going to be this much amount, then you got to pay this much amount, and then this much amount. Like, I understand, like, going out once in a while, having a good time, not caring what you're spending about, by all means, that's great. But if you're a person that's out and about, and you're trying to have a good time, and you're ending up worrying about how much you spend, and there's some people out there like that, then at the end of the day, you take a look at it, and you're just like, going out is not as much fun. I'm going to be very honest. When I was younger, you'd go out and you'd spend all this money, and $20 would go a long way. It would. $20 would go a long, long way. So I totally think that if you were to just boost this economy out by having, cheaper prices for stuff like this dollar menu items, it's going to get people happier, because it's like they're going to know their dollar goes a long way, and then they're going to want to spend more. Kind of be strategic about it. Be like, all right, cool. I'm going to cut back on my prices, and the business around me are going to cut back on my prices. So we all work together, then we're all going to make money together. Yeah, it might be a little bit slower of a process, but once that car gets going, guys, come on. Everybody's going to make money because people are going to be out and about, right? So let's just say McDonald's and an ice cream place next door. Okay, let's pretend McDonald's doesn't sell ice cream anymore. Let's say McDonald's had their dollar item. You go and you get a hamburger or whatnot. Then, of course, you want to go ahead and get yourself some ice cream. And the ice cream doesn't have to be everything on the menu, but they have that dollar thing on the ice cream menu, right? Boom, you go in there and you get yourself an ice cream, and you're spending a couple bucks. And then the person it doesn't look like it's breaking the wall. The person's going to be at your establishment a couple times a week versus once a week. And in the end, you're going to make a little bit more money. And then the happier people are, because they're going to be thinking about, oh my God, I'm saving all this cash, the more they're going to want to spend. It's science. Okay, when your endorphins are kicking in the back of your brain and you're happy, you do dumb things sometimes, right? That's why you ever hear these stories of people that get drunk and then they wake up the next morning and they're like, what did I do? How much money did I spend? Holy cow, $200. What the hell was wrong with me? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with you was your endorphins that were kicking in at the end of the day. And you were just like, screw it. I'm going to spend this money. I really don't care. So this is some of the things that I think would be beneficial at the end of the day. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on it. You don't have to agree with it. You could totally disagree. I really don't care. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are just theories that I have. So now that we have these fries out there, well, what do you think? Well, right now, when they came out in the beginning, people were all over them. And that's just the initial reaction. I never go off the first couple day reviews. I go off the reviews now, because now people have probably eaten this thing like 3 or 4 times, and now their taste buds have acquired and they can actually think about, is this thing great or not? So I have some people that like it, and I have some people that don't. But I will say that we can go ahead and check in with I'm going to call these guys the Super Squad. There's Justin and Raul, and we'll check in with them and to see how they like it and what their thoughts on it, and then come back and see what you think.
So my dad's girlfriend brought me home some nacho cheese fries from Taco Bell, and they were pretty good. I couldn't say that I had the absolute best experience because they were a little lukewarm. They, obviously they cooled down a bit on the trip over from the restaurant. But I did enjoy them, and I can't wait to get them again. I love anything smothered in cheese, so definitely, if you like things smothered in cheese, I would recommend for sure.
Talk about nacho fries. Well, man, I don't know, mixed feelings about it, honestly. Great idea, personally, I think it is. And the taste is actually pretty good, but they come in two different ways, I guess. So you have just the fries and like a nacho dip where you dip them, which I guess is more convenient if you're trying to eat and drive or something. But I don't know. Overall, I think I'd give them like a 6 out of 10, 6.5.
All right, there's the reviews right there from those guys, and, not something that looks like people go out of their way to get. I mean, it does look appealing, but it's not something that I think people go out their way to get. But my personal review on it, and I don't eat that much junk food. I try to stay away from it as much as possible, but they've got kind of like a, I don't want to sound racist here, but a Spanish type of crispness to them or seasoning that's on top of them. I don't think they're horrible. I don't think they're great. I think they're somewhere in the middle. Now, there's a lot of people out there that hate them, and all for the right specific reasons. Like, one of them thinks they're disgusting. There's another, I think it's eater.com. They looked into it even deeper and said that there's chemical hell beast in this thing. Well, of course there's going to be chemical hell beast in it. It's fast food. Don't expect to eat fast food and at the end of the day think it's great for you. It's impossible. You know it better than I do. Fresh food is going to be more expensive, takes longer to make, but at the end of the day, it's a hell of a lot cleaner for your body, and your body appreciates way more than fast food. Fast food is fast. It's cheaper, but it's not the best thing for your body. Like I said, going back to it, it's the dollar for calorie, right? The best bang for the buck, as you can say. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's great that all these fast food restaurants are going out there and they're creating this dollar thing, and they're getting people to come out to their restaurant and boost it. But it would be cool if they had a dollar thing that would be healthy. I think if you were to do that, it would definitely bring more business to you. And it's kind of a pull, right? It's a marketing type of pull. Do it all the time in business. You offer something, get people excited. All you're trying to do is you're trying to make them walk into your door. Once they see your menu open up, they'll go and they'll get some more things. I highly see people just walking in and saying, let me just get the nacho fries, and they walk out. Of course they're going to pick up a couple other items on it. That's what it's about at the end of the day, right? But, it is what it is. That's kind of my thoughts on it, my 2 cents on the nacho fries. All right, well, that's it for that one. So we're going to take a little quick break, and when we get back, we'll go on to our next topic. Stay tuned, folks. Welcome back to the Zeewala Update. I'm your host with the most, Big Z, aka Zeewala. Just want to let you guys know, all music that you hear on the Zeewala Update, number one, it's royalty free. So don't hit me with no copyright stuff at all right? And number two, I'll go ahead and just give you guys a link or tell you the name and title in the description. You guys can look it up and download it if you guys want. I just think it's easier, it's cleaner, and if you really go out there and you look for it, there are some awesome royalty-free music out there that you can use on your video projects, on your podcast, on anything that you want to use. some of them you have to credit them. Some of them, they don't really care. You can go ahead and do it. You can Google, research, read the whole 9 yards, go through it. But I honestly think that there's lots of royalty-free music out there, and it's better to do it that way too. It's just a cleaner approach. Look out for that as well, all right? So let's go on to our next topic. And this is a crazy one because it just happened about maybe less than 24 hours ago. It's kind of like fresh off the press sort of thing. It's former adult star Mia Khalifa. Okay, she revealed that she quit porn, which I didn't even know she quit porn, after she received death threats from ISIS. So she quit, and I think she moved from Miami to Austin, and that's what made her get out of porn. But number one, if you guys go out there, especially the dudes, if they say, oh yeah, and I never watch porn. That's the most bullshit answer I've seen in my entire life. Okay, every guy watches porn. Even women watch porn. I know lots of women who watch porn. Or even if they don't watch it, they're curious. They look, they see what's up to date, blah, 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 blah. It's a natural part of life, guys, okay? Come on, it's out there. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay? It's out there. I admit it. I watch it. I don't care. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. This one in general, because this girl, I remember when she came out, she was portrayed as a Muslim in some of the films. So it was like totally out there. It was totally left field. And I think she's born to a Christian family. She's Lebanese American. So that's the reason why they allowed her to do it. And I think she was approached at a Whataburger, and Whataburger is like a fast food chain out there in Texas. And it's oh my God, first time I had a Whataburger, I went bananas. It's pretty good. It's like kind of like our In-N-Out here in California, if you haven't ate In-N-Out. But anyway, she was approached at Whataburger about doing porn. She said, I'll try it out. And then she gets messages from ISIS on her Instagram saying they're going to behead her. They even did like a mock thing where they like mocked it up, be like, yo, this could be you. So I mean, like, that's pretty scary. So I can see why she quit. Believe it or not, she started out in October 2014, and by December, she was the #1 ranked performer on a site called Pornhub. So that's just crazy how she can rise to the top like that. And but she got out. She got scared. She was like, screw this. And so she's like, I'm gonna do some other things. And I think she had her own YouTube channel, or she's part of some YouTube channel, and she had her own channel on Twitch, which is the video game channel where all those gamers stream. But for ISIS to basically go in and say, I'm just going to behead you, because you have this on there. Come on, guys. I mean, like, do something better with your life. Like, if I was her, in her shoes, in her position, honestly, I would be like, go ahead, do it. I would have just stayed in there, because it's those defining moments in any person's career where they're hit with opportunities like that, where it's called a bump in the road. It's those defining moments that make his or her career, right? Like, you think about it. If a person was scared, now ISIS is pretty crazy, but if a person is approached at that particular moment with that kind of bump in the road, and then you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm completely not going to do this anymore, then it's like, well, why even do that, right? Like, talk to business owners out there. If you listen to them, or any successful person out there, if you listen to them and you hear what they say, they'll say like, oh yeah, there's people that wanted me to fail. There's people that wanted me to get out of the business. There's people that wanted to sabotage me. There's people that are out there to threaten me. But I didn't let those people stop me, because I wanted to be successful. I mean, if she was already on a rise, she only did it for a couple months, I believe. She didn't do it for that long. And I think even her home country of Lebanon gave her criticism. Like, they have their own newspaper, because she has, like, I guess on her arm or something, she has the national anthem, like a phrase of the national anthem tattooed on her arm. That's pride. Person's pride. Look, this is America, okay? This is the land of opportunity. My parents came to this country in the late 60s, early 70s, around that time, late 70s sort of thing. But they came here for one particular reason. They came here legally, by the way, okay? Come on. I don't want to get into how they came here. They came here. No. American citizens, they've been in this country for a long time. They came here for one thing, so that I can have a better opportunity in life, and my sister can do the same thing, and we can have better opportunities to grow up in a country that gives you that freedom. Like, if you live in those countries, you don't have that kind of advantage. Okay, well, especially back then, that's why they left. That's why they're like, we're coming over America. This is a great country. So for you to have anything, any type of success, even in this industry, even in the porn industry, even if you have this kind of success, I definitely feel that she should have just continued to do it. You know, that's why my parents came here. I'm sure that's why her parents came here. I mean, obviously they didn't come over here for her to be a porn star. I mean, but you know, she got approached. And those girls make good money. And if she's happy doing it, that's the thing at the end of the day. If you're happy doing it, what's stopping you? Look, think about it, okay? It's an oddball type of industry, fine. But think about it. Are you doing anything bad to anybody? Are you going out there and committing anything? Are you saying anything negative to anybody? Are you going out there and you're being disruptive? What are you doing that is really, really, I guess, targeting the negativity out there? I don't think you're doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? It's a business. You're a performer. You're going to work. You do your work, okay? You try to do a most fantastic job at it. Whatever you consider to be fantastic in the porn industry is considered fantastic, but you do your job, and then afterwards, you get paid, right? Pays your bills and whatnot, and you go on to the next day. And she had fun doing it. She was, you know, you read other articles, she said, no, I didn't have an issue with doing the job. I just got scared. If I was her and I was sitting in her shoes, I would not let threats like that bother me. You know what I mean? It was in her DM, right? Direct message on Instagram. It was there. But down the line, maybe she was thinking, okay, these guys are scary. They could really come after me. Or who knows? She might even got a physical death threat. Come to think of it, you know, like how does it get to ISIS quickly? Porn is like the bathwater of the great Satan, right? That's what they say. Another thing, which memorizes was sitting there admitting that he was scooping out to Pornhub with his buddies, right? Like, hey, check this out. Oh, by the way, hey, I don't think those guys are, I don't want to get into it, but I don't think they're all cracked up to be, you know, all straight as it is. I'm sure they have their fair share of swinging on the left side of the baseball fence. Come on. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, they said they shamed her country, you know, with the tattoo and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, obviously, if this was a situation where, like I said, I was sitting there and I got death threats coming to me, if I'm being successful at what I do, I'm not going to let that stop me. Because, especially how I know how I work, I'm going to bust my butt. I'm going to bust my behind, and I'm going to work my ass off to make sure that I'm successful no matter what I do. Okay, no matter what I do. I'll be the first to admit it here. I worked in the nightclub industry. I've been around the nightclub industry for almost 15 years. And I got paid for it for over 10 years. We're not saving the whales here, folks, in the nightclub industry, okay? I'm selling alcohol to people. People get wasted down here and do dumb things sometimes. But it's a party. I'm getting paid to have people party. So is it the most wholesome type of job? No. It's the complete opposite. But was I doing anything bad? You know, was I being disruptive in any way? I mean, everyone has their opinions about it. Was I being a horrible person? No. People would come in. I would be a great host or whatever my job description and title was. I'm not going to get into it. But I did my very level best to provide that outlet for them. So at the end of the day, when they go home, they are feeling fulfilled that they spend this much amount of cash or whatever it is, that they got their value out of it. That's the thing at the end of the day. Like if I'm collecting money from somebody, especially in the service-related industry, restaurant, whatever the case is, if you're doing a service-related industry, if you're in the work field where you're providing a service, somebody's paying you cash for you to do a provided service, you better be able to bust your butt and make sure you go above and beyond. And in the service-related industry, you do. It's way, way more work than what the money is. The dollar goes a long way. That's why when I give tips in a restaurant, I'm willing to cough over the extra couple of dollars because I know what it takes for those people in that position to make that much money. It's hard work. You're on your feet. You're busting your butt. You know what I mean? You're putting up with all this. Sometimes you get good customers. Sometimes you get bad customers. But at the end of the day, somebody's paying you cash to provide a service. And think about it. If you do a good job at providing your service, people are going to enjoy it. They're going to come back and you're going to get paid more and more opportunities open up for you. So yeah, this is the porn industry and it's crazy and whatnot. And it's, how can you relate this to this? But at the end of the day, it is relatable because she's providing a service. Okay. It's entertainment at the end of the day. Okay. It falls under the entertainment industry. Think about your favorite actor or actress. If they didn't do a great job at being a great actor or actress, would you continue to watch them? No. You'd be like, screw these guys. Change the channel, whatever the case is. Turn off this movie. She did a good job at what she was doing. People liked it. She went in 1 month from being a nobody to being a somebody. She had a lot of popularity. Well, obviously, with popularity, the higher you go on the ranks, the more haters you get. I've been down that road. Everybody knows it from here. If you're starting out from the bottom, and as soon as you start going from the top, those people, you're going to have some people support you, and then those already got some people out there that's going to be like, I don't know about Z. Of course, the higher you go, the more hate you have. So here you go. You were rising to the top. It goes against their platform, quote unquote, and they were trying to knock you down, and they won. They knocked you down. You don't let haters hate on you. You say, oh, you know what? You don't even reply. If I got a hater that's hating on me, DM, whatever the case is, I don't even give them the time of day because you feed into that type of energy. You see what I'm saying? You want to be able to feed into more positive things. So if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you better stop doing that, or I'm going to come around and take care of business. Well, try it. If you do things right, you can be protected. Okay? I would have been a little bit more confident in her shoes and be like, all right, you know what? If this is what you guys are hating on, then this is what it is. And think about it. You're out there, and the role that you portrayed, what, you don't think that other people are going to get upset about it? Of course they're going to get upset about it. Of course it is. But this is, once again, the porn industry. Yeah, you're working in a very crazy industry. You have to be able to handle the heat. But maybe she didn't know what she was getting herself into. Maybe she's like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I did not expect it to be this crazy. I just wanted to try it. Maybe. Who knows? Or maybe she just got particularly scared. You never know. Would you really quit your job if you got death threats? But hey, it is what it is. She's out of the game. Big props for her to go out there and do it and be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore, and I just want to kind of move on. And the good thing is, if you kind of read up on her, she is trying her very level best to be successful through other avenues. And I can't hate on that, as long as you keep moving. If you're moving forward and you're busting your butt, I can't hate on it. Go do your thing, go bust your butt, and go get your bills paid at the end of the day. All right? All right, so that's my 2 cents on that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with our next topic. See you back here, folks. Welcome back to the Zeewala Update. I'm your host with the most, Big Z, a.k.a. Zeewala. And let's move on to our next topic, which is Girl Scout cookies. Come on, you can't not talk about Girl Scout cookies right now because it's everywhere. I'm sure you've seen those girls out and about on your local grocery store. It's Girl Scout cookie season, ladies and gentlemen. But what captured my interest more than anything was this 6-year-old adorable girl from Atlanta. Shout out to my Georgians out there. And for sure, I have to give a big shout out to all the Georgians out there. Why? Well, because I have family in Atlanta, number one. Number two, that Southern hospitality. My boy Reno, who lives here in California, obviously, if you haven't figured that out by now, but he's originally from Louisiana, and he has that Southern hospitality built into him, which is fantastic. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when they ask you a question, it's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's a total opposite of a New Yorker. No offense to any New Yorkers out there, but it's, New Yorkers like, yeah, what are you doing? Get the heck out of my way. Watch where you're going. That's a horrible New York accent, but you get my drift here. That Southern hospitality, that's fantastic. I wish more people in this United States of A had that kind of mentality built into them. I remember my ex-boss, he told me, hey, stop calling me sir. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just the way I was raised. And I'm not from the South, but my mom taught me, hey, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am type of thing. It was just natural. I still do it till this day. I still do it. But yeah, he's like, no, you don't have to say anything sorry about that. It's just that, heck, like I'm not used to this kind of hospitality and this kind of humility. But shout out to all the people out in Georgia, Atlanta, actually shout out to everyone in the South who has that Southern hospitality. Only if you have that Southern hospitality. If you don't, it's time for you to visit the drawing board again. But this 6-year-old girl from Georgia, she does Childish Gambino's Redbone. She does her own parody of it. And obviously it's featuring her dad. He goes by Daddy Mo. And they're in the car and they're recording this cute little video. And she's singing about Girl Scout cookies and why you should buy them. Obviously it goes viral. And no, I don't know if she went on Ellen or not, but obviously went viral. And from there, fast forward, Danny Glover's on The Late Show, and he's sitting there and he's talking, and they say, hey, did you see this girl? She did a parody off your song. Obviously, he's like, yeah, that was totally awesome. I wish I could buy cookies off of her. Lo and behold, here she comes out, brings the little form, yada, yada, yada. He's like, oh, 113 boxes, that's all you need to fill in your quota? I'll buy them all. Crowd goes crazy. It's great TV. Well, I considered it great TV, right? But, it's the right thing to do. I was reading positive comments on it, but then, freedom of speech, there was negative comments. I'm like, negative comments off Girl Scout cookies? Let me break this down to you. We're not buying Girl Scout cookies for the taste. Maybe Thin Mints, because everybody loves Thin Mints. You put them in the fridge. Sometimes I like to sneak them in the freezer for a little bit, let them get a little chilly. That kind of point right in between frozen and still in fridge mode? Right there, right in between. Get them out of the freezer. That's about 15 minutes. Try it. Bite on it. Amazing. Oh my God, I'm getting so hungry. Okay, I'll even give you a better tip. Get one of those Thin Mints, a little whipped cream in between. Not too much. Get a little Ready Whip. Sprinkle some cinnamon on there. That's it. Walk away. Happiest day of your life, all right? It's a perfect thing to eat after a long day, all right? Anyway, people are flaming on it. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, why I don't want to eat those cookies. Why should I buy them? Look, it's obviously if you miss the entire fact of why you're buying Girl Scout cookies in the first place, you probably have to go to square one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drift off a little bit. And when I was a kid, I had to raise money to get a bike because my mom couldn't afford it. She saw that, hey, my son sells 11 boxes of this candy. He's going to get this prize, right? So the higher you sell, the more prizes you get. One of them was a bike. She's like, we could do this. Me, obviously, any kid, they're like, no, heck no, no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. There's no way I'm going to be doing it. I don't want to do this. Why? But when I first started out, it was tough. It was difficult. I faced a lot of rejection, going door to door, taking it to church. It's not like today where you have the ability to let people know that you have it. I mean, you got Instagram, you do a little post, yada, yada, yada. Everybody knows you got cookies. Whoever's following you, they're going to hit you up if they're interested. There was nothing like that back then. What I had to do, go door to door. I had to call people on a thing called a phone that plugged into your wall, dial these numbers up. Sometimes you spin this little dial, rotary dial. It was tough. But at the end, towards the end, the reward, getting the bike, obviously I got it. It was very satisfying. And I looked at that bike and I'm like, that's amazing. I got it. This is the greatest day ever. But the path to get there was difficult. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're buying these Girl Scout cookies, if you're out there writing articles about flaming on them, think about why you're buying them in the first place. You're buying it to raise money for these kids. They're not cheap either. They're expensive. I mean, if you take a look, when the cookies, I think they're $4, they have a breakdown of the cookie itself. They say 100% of the entire thing goes within the internal circle. They don't take it and they don't distribute it anywhere else. It stays within the circle, okay? So if a cookie box is $4, $1.08 goes to the cookie production, 61 cents goes to the camp, 49 cents goes to leadership program, 22 cents goes to local So admin, 76 cents goes to, I forgot where it is, but it goes to something. And then 84 cents goes to the troop. I gotta figure out what that 76 cents is. It's gonna bother crap out of me, okay? But it goes to the troop. So everything stays internal. So if you want a breakdown of where your cookies go to, that's where it is. There was one article in the Huffington Post. I'm not gonna say who the author is, but I'll give you the title. You can Google it. Why I won't buy Girl Scout cookies next year. His subtitle is, what bothers me is the lack of consistency, quality control, and customer service offered. You have to take a look at the Girl Scout platform and tree and how it's run. Obviously, you got the participants, and then you've got the volunteers, and then obviously you have the corporate people. And I'm sure the corporate people are getting paid. Because remember, this is a non-profit organization. They're not there to turn a profit. Obviously, people got to get paid to eat and live and yada, yada, yada. But take a look at what it is. It's an internal structure. Now, I ran a camp before. And when I ran a camp, obviously I had the participants. I had the teenagers who were counselors. I had some volunteers that were under me. And then I was doing it. I didn't get paid for this, by the way. The whole thing is that when I looked at the camp at the whole, was there some inconsistency between it? I trained them as much as I possibly can. Hell yeah, there was. The consistency's not there. Quality control, you can try your very best. That first day was chaotic. Doesn't mean that we suck or anything like that. It's just structure. It's learning. At the end of the week, though, everyone took home something. And I'm talking about a piece that they can add to their life. So, I mean, the participants, obviously, they enjoy themselves and they learn. They got arts and crafts and blah, blah, blah. They have, some emotional ties in there. They made some friends. That's something that they can take for the rest of life. Teenagers, obviously, the counselors, they get stuff that subconsciously adds to their job traits later on. It's leadership, communication, improvisation, all that stuff combines together, right? Volunteers, they help out. They feel good about it. They might learn some stuff in there. They might have had tough during the beginning of the week, and toward the end of the week, it was like drinking water. Easy. And obviously me, I get sort of a learning experience out of it. And what do I get? What's the biggest satisfaction that I can remember going back to it? It's as the whole. It's the whole objective of the entire camp. I want to do something positive. I want to reach out I want to help these people. We had crap peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that the kids can have. Was it the best? No. Was it nutritious? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Some days it was like McDonald's. Wasn't the best stuff in the world. Some days we spent a lot of money. Some days we didn't. But at the end of the day, I know, and everyone else, and even the participants know that it was for the cause. They were trying to get something more out of it. So it goes back to Girl Scout cookies in general. If you're going to write an article about why Girl Scout cookies is crap and I don't want to buy them, blah, 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 you have to think twice of what you're saying. What if one of the kids read this article? Everything that they worked hard for goes down the drain. It would be so turned off. Like, I'm not saying don't have a title to your opinion. Do it. It's a freedom of speech here. It's in our amendment. But if you're going to sit there and nitpick every detail about Girl Scout cookies and how they're made from this and that I bought one and it didn't taste the same. Of course it's not. They're expensive cookies that you have once a year. Don't calorie count. Don't look at what they're made of. There's an article with CNN that said it gives you cancer even because the high corn syrup, the modified crops, and the GMO was 88% and it's 90%. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's okay. Like they know themselves as a company, they're destroying the rainforest because palm oil is a key ingredient in the actual cookie itself. And obviously they're destroying the forest. And somebody was like, oh yeah, let me write about it. And they messaged them. And obviously they knew. It's not like they denied it. They were like, hell yeah, we used it. But we're trying our level best. It's the consistency in our cookies. And if we can find an alternate and we are looking for it, we'll do it because we want to adapt. But if you're sitting there going to try to write about why these cookies are bad or don't buy them or, even these major corporations or major companies out there, why would you even write something like that? You got to take a look at it the whole. It's for the cause. So I'm going to go to my friend B, okay? I don't know if she wants to use her whole name or not, but she's out there. She's going to give you a little blurb on why she thinks Girl Scout cookies are important. She has a daughter, and let's see what her 2 cents are.
Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scouts. Am I for it? Am I not for it? Of course I'm for it. Shout out to the girls that were screaming at the top of their lungs in front of South Fremont Bar, slanging them Girl Scout cookies. And not only are they selling it, they taking card too. I support everyone with ambition and shout out to the Girl Scouts.
All right, there you go. Thank you, B. Appreciate it. So at the end of the day, take a look at it as a whole and go out and buy some cookies, because I think it's highly important that people buy them for the right reasons. You're doing it to help people out. You're doing it to raise money. It's a fundraiser. Don't forget at the end of the day. Girl Scout Cookies fundraiser. Raising money to help support this program. It's a non-profit organization. They're not there to make money. They're just there to sustain the program itself. And if you really want to take a look at it, do I eat Girl Scout cookies? Yeah, if it's there, I'll eat it. I'll buy a box or so here and there. But my other Girl Scout cookies I get is another type of plant, and I'll let you figure out what that is, all right? Okay, now. All right, so... Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll discuss our next topic. So stay tuned, folks. Back to the Zeewala Update. I'm your host with the most big Z, aka Zeewala, and let's get into our final topic, or I could say it's more like a rapid fire segment, because it's like 3 mini topics that I want to discuss. But let's get right into it. The very first one has to be this new smash hit. Apparently it's called Vero, V-E-R-O, and it has about 500,000 downloads in the Google Play App Store and supposedly surging ahead in the iOS App Store, whatever that means. And this app is basically a mushed up version of Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook all into one app. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I downloaded it, I looked through it, and it's sharp. Like, somebody sat there and was like, okay, we can't just do a piss poor job and just come out with this thing. We gotta really put some effort into it if we're gonna come out and go against all 3. So what's the difference? I mean, do I have to download another app, and do I have to sign up, and do I have to do all these things? I don't know. It just depends on people at this particular moment. But what's different between this and, Instagram and Facebook, you can say, is the fact that this thing doesn't have algorithms, which is what screws everyone over. When you used to on Facebook or Instagram, when you used to go on, whatever a person would post is that particular moment in time. It's in time. It's real time. They're no longer like that anymore. They post based upon algorithms, which means, like if certain posts are seen or not, what's more popular, what's trending, blah, blah, blah. Those things get seen first. And obviously, if you have 5 friends on Facebook and Instagram, you ain't going to be seeing nothing. So it's all about that and advertisements and sponsorships and blah, blah, blah. So that's what Instagram and Facebook's about. I can't complain because that's how I make my living. I'm not going to lie, okay? Yeah, you can boo me all you like, but that's how I make my living. But at the end of the day, to the average Joe Schmo, it's not really something that applies to it, because if you do have something important to post, you don't really see it. I know a person right now, like somebody got married, that's number 1, it's on top. Even stuff that is engaging. Somebody's in the hospital, blah, 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 has a baby, those kind of things set up on top. So it's unfortunate if you do have something important to share, but it's not at that important value of those life moments that you have, it's not going to really be seen. Is it fair or not? I don't know. That's something that you guys kind of have to depend on yourselves. I personally think, yeah, sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's not fair. I look at it like, okay, when am I going to post this thing? It sucks because that's sitting in the back of my mind. Oh no, maybe I should only post it at this time, or maybe I should only post it in here. Nobody's going to really see it. You can't just post whenever. It sucks because not everyone's on Instagram at that particular moment in time, right? But yeah, going back to the algorithms, right? That's basically what it is. So Vero is free of those. It's an ad-free platform. But here's the twist. You got to pay a monthly fee. I don't know how much it is. And I don't know. I mean, the take is like, if this thing does catch on, then people will start paying a monthly fee for like Instagram and Facebook. I mean, whatever it does, but that's what we're going to be going towards. And it's only if the majority of the people are doing it. You get what I'm saying? If it's trending, then people do it. That's how it works, right? If something's trending, people jump on the bandwagon, as they say. But I don't know. You guys kind of put your 2 cents on that and leave a comment below. Let me know. Second thing we'll move on to is, and I'm really excited for this one right here, guys. Wreck-It Ralph 2's trailer came out, and it broke the internet. It's #1 trending on YouTube. Every time you come out with a sequel, like, you just have to always one-up it, right, with the original, because if the original is awesome, and Wreck-It Ralph, the original, is awesome, like, I'm not gonna lie, I watched that movie like 900 times. I love it. It's a great story. Like, there's no dead parts in that movie. But I mean, I think it's going to do fantastic compared to, honestly, which I thought would probably be a much more epic trailer, is the Incredibles 2 trailer. I saw it 2 times and I really paid attention, and it just didn't grab my interest this much. Like, Elastigirl's gonna be fighting more and Mr. Incredible is gonna be staying home taking care of the kid. Like, I don't want to watch that. I'm sure the story's different, and if it is, cool, but if it isn't, like, you shouldn't have showed that side of the story like so much. It's just so much in the trailer. If the trailer's like 2 minutes long, let's just say, like, a minute of it is all about him parenting. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, if the story has more things to do, show it. Or are you just teasing us because you don't know what's going to be coming up next, right? It could be just completely different thing. I've seen trailers like that. You watch a little bit and you're like, oh God, this is going to suck. You go in a theater and you're like, holy cow, this is amazing. This is amazing. So it is what it is. Maybe they'll come out with another one. If they do, I can't see. But for right now, I'm totally turned off on The Incredibles 2, for sure. And definitely Wreck-It Ralph 2. I won't be first in line, but I'll be there for sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right. So I got to leave this podcast, especially since it's the first podcast, I got to leave this podcast with some positivity. And I'm going to go back to the Super Bowl, which was about a month away. Was it about a month away? Dude. Almost, or no, it is exactly 1 month since the Super Bowl has happened, and it was a phenomenal Super Bowl, okay? I mean, everything about the Super Bowl was positive, especially if you're an Eagles fan, because of course they were the underdogs, and they had lost their quarterback in the season, and Nick came in as a backup quarterback. It was like a miracle, I mean? It's like stuff you see in the movies sort of thing. So what I'm going to focus on is exactly that particular person, is Nick Foles. And I've seen so many interviews with so many players across the board in all sports and ranges, but it's just something about Nick. He's just so humble. I mean, and just the words that he says. Now, I wanted to use an excerpt on one of the interviews that he did right after the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I mean, if I put it in here, copyright, you know how it is. I'm just trying to show you. I'm not trying to make any money off of this. Come on, guys. Anyway, so I'm going to read it, so just bear with me here. It's just a little excerpt, and I'll tell you exactly why I thought this was important, right? So Nick said, I think the big thing is don't be afraid to fail. In our society today, with Instagram and Twitter, it's all a highlight. It's all the good things. When you look at it, you have a bad day, you think your life isn't good, you're failing. Failure is a part of life. It's a part of building character and growing. Without failure, who would you be? I wouldn't be up here if I haven't fallen 1,000 times, made mistakes. We're all human. We all have weaknesses. I know when people speak and share their weaknesses, I listen because I can relate. I'm not perfect. I'm not Superman. We might be in the NFL and we might have just won the Super Bowl, but we all have daily struggles. That's where my faith comes in. That's where my family comes in. I think when you look at the struggle in your life, just know that it's an opportunity for your character to grow. How phenomenal is that? This guy just won the Super Bowl and he's saying a statement like that? I mean, kudos to this guy. I wish all athletes, I'm sure they are. I'm not saying that they don't. Come on, guys. Like, majority of the athletes, a lot of them, you could see. There's some of them, they're self-centered, but there's some out there, when the camera's on them, they say these kind of things. But I watched them on Ellen. I watched them do other episodes and podcasts and interviews. And he's pretty consistent on what he says. And I truly believe, I can, like, looking into the man's eyes type of thing, that he's really sincere about what he's saying. Like, he really means it. And I really think that's why he took this team to the Super Bowl and they won it, because his humility is his forefront. I was always taught when I was younger to be humble. Even though you might have $1,000 in your pocket, you have no right to walk around and say that I got $1,000 in my pocket. And some people are like that, right? People like that. They take out the cash, they start spending it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the case is, they get something nice, they like to show it off. I'm not saying, you get something nice, you work hard for it, yeah, but don't smush it in somebody's face. You might have $1,000 in your pocket, but dude, somebody probably only has $1 or $10 in their pocket, and they probably bust their butt to just get that. So you got to look at it from both sides of the fence. And remember, at some particular point in time, you barely had 2 cents in your pocket. So you got to keep humility as your forefront. And when you do that, good things come. I really think that he won the Super Bowl because of his soul. These 2 paragraphs that I just read, that's his soul. And that's how he plays. He is the same person off the field and on the field, which is awesome. I really think so. I just say, hey, Nick, a round of applause for you and pat on the back. And I hope whatever decision that you make, Philadelphia Eagles make, which I really think that he wants to stay there. He really likes it over there. He started out with them too, right? Like he played for them. He was on their roster. And he said it himself. He said, oh, man, I really like Philly here. I'm really comfortable here in Philly. I think those were his words. But, Carson's a good quarterback too. We'll see what happens after that. This whole Super Bowl thing has changed his life. So you never know. When a person like that has that kind of soul, I want the best for them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what winners are. It's a combination of both, right? It's a combination of being a good person and working hard. There's always this thing where people say, hey, you know what? The higher you get to the top, the more of a jerk or asshole you have to be. I agree at some particular point in time. That happens. You have to be firm and assertive, because the higher you go, obviously you're having more responsibilities. You have more people under you. So yeah, you got to work your ass off and you got to maintain control. But at the same time, you got to be a good person. You got to use your soul first. You got to use your heart first. And then from there, everything else will unfold. Trust me, karma, it's there. What goes around comes around. You do good, you're going to receive good. You do bad, you're going to receive bad. I mean, it's one of those life lessons that's taught to anybody. You don't have to be part of any religion or believe in anything else. It's one of those things that's part of human nature. So that's my 2 cents on that. If you have any comments or thoughts on that, you can leave them below in the comments. And thank you so much for listening to the very first episode of the Zeewala Update. I am your host with the most, Big Z, aka Zeewala. If you like what you heard today, there's that follow button. I think Podbean has that follow button. I'm on Podbean. And if you hear this on iTunes, you can follow me on iTunes too. I'll leave all the links to the music below. Want to give a big shout out once again to the Team Super Squad who dropped their 2 cents on the nacho cheese. And of course, my girl B, who actually gave me the idea to talk about the Girl Scout cookies. She's like, hey, this is a good topic. It's hot right now. Which, lo and behold, as she was telling me, was sitting there at one of my lists. I'm like, you know what? It is. Let's do it. So big shout out to her. That's why she got the spot to kind of give her 2 cents about Girl Scout cookies. Go buy yourself a box, all right? And hey, flu season's almost over, and the president is on a new diet. He hasn't been seen eating a hamburger in the last 2 weeks, all right? Okay, folks, well, we'll see you on the next episode of the Zeewala Update. You guys take care. Much love and respect. This is Big Z, a.k.a. Zeewala, and I'm out of here.